my dear one, thee, my daughter, who art ignorant of what not knowing, or whence I am no nor better than Prospero, master of the full poor cell, and thy no greater father.
More to know to never meddle with my thoughts.
'Tis time I should inform thee farther. Come, lend thy hand and pluck my magic garment from me. So, lie there, my aunt. Light thou thine eyes, have comfort. The dire spectacle of the rack which touches the very virtue of compassion to me, I have within such a vision of mine own heart, so safely ordered that there is no soul. No, not so much perdition as a hair, but 'tis any creature on the vessel which thou heardest cry, which thou sawest sink. Sit down, for thou must know now farther.
You have often begun to tell me what I am, but stop, left me to a bootless inquisition, concluding stay, not yet.
The hour is now come. The very minute bids thee open thine ear. Obey, and be attentive. Canst thou remember a time before we came into the cell? I do not think thou canst, for then thou was not 3 years old.
Certainly, sir, I can.
By what? By any other house or person? Of anything, tell me how that hath kept thy remembrance.
'Tis far off, and rather like a dream than an assurance which my remembrance warrants. Had I not 4 or 5 witch ones attended me?
Thou hast, and more, Miranda. How is it this lives in thy mind? And what else dost thou see in the dark backward and abysm of time? If thou remember how thou camest here, thou mayest.
But that I do not.
12 years since, Miranda, 12 years since, thy father was Duke of Milan, Prince of Power.
Sir, are not you my father?
Thy mother was a piece of virtue, and she said thou wast my daughter. And thy father was Duke of Milan, and his only heir, princess no worse issued.
Oh, the heavens! What foul play had we that we came from thence? Or blessed was we did?
Both, my girl. By foul play, as thou sayest, we were heaved thence, but blessedly hoped it.
Oh, my heart bleeds to think of the teen that I have turned you to, which is from my remembrance. Please you, farther.
My brother and thy uncle called Antonio. I pray thee, mark me, that a brother should be so perfidious. He whom next to thyself of all the world I love, I gave to manage my state. Through all the seniorities, it was the first, Prospero, being the prime duke, being reputed in dignity, and through the liberal arts without a parallel. Those being my study, the government I gave to my brother, and to my state I grew stranger, thus being wrapped in my secret studies. My false brother, dost thou attend me?
Sir, most heedfully.
Once being perfected on how to grant suits, how to deny them, whom to advance and who to transfer over, topping the creatures that were mine, or else new changed them, or else new formed them, having both the office of key and key, set all tunes to the heart which pleased his ear. In his ivy hid my princely trunk, and sucked my verdure out on't. Thou attendest not.
Oh, good sir, I do.
I, thus neglecting all worldly ends to the closeness and the betterment of my mind, in my brother await an evil nature, and like a good parent did beget of him, in my trust, which had indeed no limit, confidence stands bound. He being thus lorded on not with only my power yielded, but what else my power might exact. He indeed believed he was the Duke, executing the outward face of royalty with all prerogative. Hence, his ambition growing. Dost thou hear?
Your tale, sir, would cure deafness.
Of what part he played and what part he played it for, he needs will be absolute Milan. Me, poor man. My library was dukedom large enough. Of temporal royalties, he thinks me now incapable, confederate, so dry, who was the king of Naples, to give him annual tribute, to do him homage, to subject the coronet to his crown, to bend the dukedom yet unbowed. Alas! Poor Milan is most ignoble.
Oh, the heavens!
Mark the condition and the event, and say if this might be your brother.
I should sin but to think nobly of my grandmother. Good wombs have borne bad sons.
Now the condition. This king of Naples being an enemy to me, hearkens inveterate, and my brother sued, O Luo the premises, to do me and my fair Milan. A treacherous army left me. One midnight, did Antonio open the gates of fair Milan, and thrust forth me and thy brides our story were most impertinent.
Wherefore did they not that hour destroy us?
Well demanded, wench. My tale provokes that question. Dear, they durst not. The love that my people bore for me, there they preferred us a rotten carcass of what? Nor rig, nor tackle, nor sail, nor mass. The very rats instinctively have quitted. There they bore us off some leagues to sea that roared to us, to the winds that sighed to us, to the winds sighing back again, did us all with loving wrong.
Lad, what trouble was I then to you?
Oh, the cherubim, thou didst preserve me. Thou didst smile, was infused with a fortitude from heaven, and under my burden groan I bare it up, and the stomach up against me should ensue.
How came we ashore?
By providence divine. Some fresh water we had, some food, given to us by a noble Neapolitan Gonzalo, whom, out of his charity, just being appointed the master of his design, did give us rich linens, garments, stuffs, and necessaries that have set us so. Knowing his gentle nature, and knowing I love my books, he furnished me from mine own library volumes that I prize above my due.
Would I might but ever meet that man.
Now I arise. Sit still, and hear the last of our sea sorrow. Here we have come to this island, and here have I thy schoolmaster, the more prophet than other princes can, and in times not so vain your hours, and tutors not so careful.
Heavens, thank you for it. And now I pray you, sir, for still just reading in my mind reason for raising this sea storm?
No, thus far forth. By most strange accident, bountiful fortune, now, my dear lady, have all mine enemies been brought to shore. I find my preference to depend on a most auspicious star, whose influence, if I court not but omit, my fortunes will ever after droop. Here, cease more questions. Thou art inclined to sleep. 'Tis a dullness, give way. I know thou canst not choose. Oh, Ariel, come, I am ready now. Approach my Ariel, come.
All hail, great master. Grave sir, hail. I come to answer thy best pleasure, be it to fly, to swim, to dive into the fire, to ride on the curled cloud, to thy strong bidding, tusk, Ariel, and all his qualities.
Hast thou, spirit, performed to the point the tempest that I bade thee?
To every article. I boarded the king's ship, now in the beak, now in the waist, the deck. In every cabin I flamed amazement. Sometimes I divide and burn in many places. On the topmast yards and bowsprit would I flame distinctly than meet and join. Jove is lightning. The precursors of the dreadful thunderclaps, more momentary in sight outrunning were not. The fire and cracks of sulphurous roaring, the most mighty Neptune seemed to besiege, make his bold waves tremble, yea, his dread trident shake!
My brave spirit, but who was so coiled that this would not infect his reason?
Not a soul but felt a fever of the mad and played some tricks of desperation. All but mariners plunged into the foaming brine and quit the vessel. Then all afire was me, the king's son Ferdinand, with hair upstaring, then like reeds not hair, was the first man that leapt, cried, "Hell is empty, and all the devils are here!"
That's my spirit, but was this not my shore?
Close by, my master.
But are they safe?
Not a hair patch. And there's a stain in garments, not a blemish, but fresher than before. And as thou badest me, in troops, I have dispersed them without the fire. The king's son have outlanded by himself, whom I left cooling of the air with sighs in an odd angle of the isle, and sitting his arms in this sad knot.
Of the king's ship and the mariners half that disposed, know the rest of the fleet.
Safely in harbor is the king's ship. In the deep nook where once thou calledst me up at midnight to fetch dew from the still vexed vermouths. There she's hid. The mariners all under hatches stowed, who with a charm joined to their suffered labor I have left asleep. And for the rest of the fleet, which I dispersed, they have all met again, and are upon the Mediterranean float, bound sadly home for Naples, supposing they saw the king's ship wrecked, and his great person perish.
Ariel, thy charge is exactly performed, but There's more work. What's the time of the day?
Past the mid-season.
At least 2 glasses. The time twixt 6 and now must by us both be spent most preciously.
Is there more toil? Since thou dost give me pains, let me remember thee that thou hast promised, which is not yet performed me.
How now? Moody, what's thou canst demand?
My liberty.
Before the time be out, no more.
I prithee remember I have done thee worthy service, told thee no lies, made no mistakings, served without or grudge or grumblings. Thou didst promise to face thee a full year.
Hast thou forgot from what a torment I did free thee from?
No.
Thou hast, and think it best to tread the ooze of the sea's salt deep, to run sharp to the winds of the earth, to do me business in the veinier depths of the earth when it is baked with frost.
I do not, sir.
Thou liest, malignant thing. Hast thou forgot the foul witch Sycorax, who with age and envy was grown into a hoop? Hast thou forgot her?
No, sir.
Thou hast. Where was she born? Speak, tell me.
Sir, in Argent.
Oh, was she so? I must once in a month recount what there has been which thou forgettest. This foul witch Sycorax, who with mischiefs manifold, sorceries terrible, to enter human hearing in Argier, thou knowest, was banished. For one thing she would not, they would not take her life. Is this not true?
Aye, sir.
This blue-eyed hag was brought hither and left here by the sailors. Thy slave, as thou reportest thyself, was to her servant, a spirit too delicate to act her earthly abhorrent commands, refusing her grand hest. She did confine thee with the help of her most potent ministers in her most unmitigable rage. Imprisoned now 12 years, within which space she died, and left thee there, and thy groans did make fast as mill wheels strike. As for the island, save for the son, a freckled whelp, a hag born not blessed with a human shape.
Yes. Caliban, her son.
A dull thing, I say so, he, that Caliban, whom now I keep in service. Thou best remember from what the torment I did free thee from. Thy groans did make wolves howl and penetrate the breasts of angry bears. This was a dam which Sycorax could not yet again undo. It was by mine heart, when I arrived, heard thee, made gape the pine, and let thee go!
Thank thee, master.
Thou murmurest more of this, I shall wrap his Nazi entrails until thou dost howl away 12 winters.
Pardon, master. I will be correspondent to command and do my spriting gently.
Do so. And after 2 days, I will discharge thee.
That's my noble master. What shall I do? Say what? What shall I do?
Go, be a nymph of the sea. Be subject to no sight but mine and thine, invisible to every eyeball else. Go, hither, take the shape, and go bring hither our dawn. Go, hence, with diligence. Awake, my dear heart. Awake, thou hast slept well. Awake.
The strangeness of your story put heaviness in me.
Come, shake it off. We must go and visit my slave Caliban, who never yields us kind answer.
Tis a villain, sir, I do not love to look on.
As 'tis, we cannot miss him. He does fetch in our wood and make in our fire, and serves in offices that profit us. What ho, slave Caliban! Thou earth, thou speak!
There's wood enough within.
Come, there's other business for thee. Come thou, tortoise, when? Find my apparition, my heir.
My lord, it shall be done.
Upon the wicked dam, and by the devil himself, come forth!
As wicked do as ere my mother brushed with raven's feather from a wholesome den, drop on you both a southwest blow and blister you all o'er.
For this be sure, tonight thou shalt have crammed side stitches that shall pin thy breath up. Urchins shall kiss thee in the night, and exercise on thee. Thou shalt be pitch more than honeycomb, each pitch more stinging than bees that have ate on.
I must eat my dinner. The island's mine by Sycorax, my mother, which thou me. Renowned his birth, thou strokest me and make much of me, wouldst give me water with berries in it, and teach me how to name the bigger light and how the less that burn by day and night. And then I loved thee, and showed thee all the qualities in the isle, the fresh springs, brine pits, barren place, and fertile. Cursed be I that did so. All the charms of sycorax, toads, beetles, bats light on you, for I am all the subjects that you have, which first was mine own king. And here you stay me in this hard rock, while you keep me from the rest of the island.
Thou most lying slave, whom stripes may move not with kindness, filth is thou art. I have used thee with humane care, enlarged thee in mine own self, till thou dost seek to violate the honor of my child.
Oh, would it been done? Thou didst prevent me. I had peopled else this isle with Calibans.
Abhorred slave, any freak of goodness will not take, being capable of all ill. I pity thee, took pains to make thee speak, taught thee each hour one thing or other. When thou didst not savage know thine own meaning, but wouldst gabble like a thing most brutish, I endowed thy purposes with words that they did know. But thy vile race, though thou didst learn half that language, good natures could not abide to be with. Therefore wast thou deservedly confined into this rock, who hast deserved more than prison.
You taught me language, and my profit on it is I know how to curse. The red plague rid you for learning me your language.
Proceed hence. Go, fetch us some fuel, and be quick. There aren't other business for thee. Struckest thou malice? If thou dost neglect her, too unwillingly when I command, thou shalt have prince. Bones shall ache, and thy world shall be beast. Tremble at thy din!
No, Brady!
So slave, hence.
Come unto these yellow sands, and then take hands. Curtsied when you haven't kissed the wild waves' whist. Foot it featly here and there, and sweet sprites bear the burden. Hark, hark. Where should this music be? In the air or the earth? It sounds no more, and sure it waits upon some god of the island.
Sitting on a bank, weeping again the king, my father's wrath, this music crept by me upon the waters, laying both their fury and my passion with its sweet air. Thence I have followed it, or hath drawn me rather, but 'tis gone. No, it begins again.
Full fathom 5 thy father lies, of his bones are coral made, those are pearls that were his eyes, nothing of him that doth fade, but doth suffer us see change into something rich and strange. See nymphs hourly ring his knell, ding dong, hark, now I hear them, ding dong bell.
This music does remember my drowned father. This is no mortal business, nor no sound that the earth owes. I hear it now above me.
Fringe eyed curtain, tell what thou seest here.
What is it, a spirit? Lord, how it looks about. Believe me, sir, it carries a great form, but 'tis a spirit.
No, wench, it eats and sleeps and has such senses as we have such. This gallant, he was incorrect, but stained with grief, that's beauty's canker. Some might call him a goodly person. He strays about to find his fellows, for he is long
Oh, sure, the goddess on whom these airs attend. Vouchsafe my prayer, may know if you remain upon this island, and that you will some good instruction give how I may bear me here. My prime request, which I do last pronounce, is, you wonder, if you be made or no.
No wonder, sir, but certainly a maid.
My language, heavens, I am the best of them that speak the speech but where it is spoken.
How? The best. What if the King of Naples heard thee?
A single thing, as I am now wonder to hear thee speak of Naples. He does hear me, and that he does. I weep. Myself and Naples, who with mine eyes never since it had beheld the king, my father, wrath.
Alas, for mercy!
Yes, faith in all his lords, the Duke of Milan and his son being twain.
The Duke of Milan and his more braver daughter could control to her fit to do it. At the first sight, they have changed eyes. Dearly delicate Ariel shall set thee free for this. A word, good sir. I fear you have done yourself some wrong. A word.
Why speaks my father so ungently? This is the third man that ere I saw, the first that ere I sighed for. Did he move my father to be inclined my way?
Oh, if a virgin in your affections knock on forth, I'll make you the queen of Naples.
Softer! One word more. As glad as this is they, I cannot be. This business I must easy make, lest the prize like win it. One word more, sir, I charge thee. If thou name dost usurp not, thou hast come to the island as a spy to win it from me, the Lord on.
No, as I am a man.
There's no ill to dwell in such a temple. If the ill spirit have so fair a house, good things will strive to dwell with it.
Come, speak not you for him, he's a traitor. I shall manacle thy neck and feet together. Sea water shalt thou drink. Thy food shall be the fresh brook mussels, withered roots, and husks that acorn cradled in. Come.
No, I will resist such entertainment till mine enemy has more power.
Oh, dear father, make not too rash to try to look him, for he's gentle and not fearful.
What's this? Thy foot, thy tutor. Put up thy sword, traitor, who makest a show, but darest not strike. Thy conscience is so possessed with guilt. Come at thy ward, for I here can disarm thee with this here stick and make thy weapon drop.
Beseech you, father.
Hence, hang not on my garments.
Sir, have pity, I'll be his surety.
Silence! One word more shall make me chide thee, if not hate thee. What's this? An advocate for this impostor? Hush. Foolish ones, only seeing shapes, but he and Caliban, to most men this is a Caliban, and he to them are as good as angels.
My affections are then most humble. I have no ambition to see a goodlier man.
Come on, obey. Thy nerves are in their infancy again and have no vigor left in them.
So they are. My spirit is in a dream, we're all bound up. The rack, all my friends, my father's loss. Nor to this man's threat to who I am subdued are but light to me. Might I but through my prison once a day behold this maid? All corners of the earth let liberty make use of. Space enough with I in such a prison.
It works. Thou hast done well, fine Ariel. Follow me, hark what thou shalt do me.
Be of comfort. My father's of better nature, sir, than he appears by speech. This is unlooked which now came to him.
Thou shalt be free as the mountain mountain winds, but do exactly to all points my command.
To the syllable.
Come, speak, not you for him.
Desert.
Ha ha ha!
So your pay. Uninhabitable and almost inaccessible.
Yet he could not miss it. It must needs be of subtle, delicate, and tender temperance. Temperance was a delicate wench. The Ariel promised here most sweetly, as if it had lungs and rotten ones.
Here is everything advantageous to life.
True, save means to live. Of that there's none or little.
How lush and lusty the grass looks, how green.
The grass indeed is tawny.
With an eye of green in it.
Oh, this is no good. No, you doth but mistake the truth totally.
But the rarity of it is, which is indeed almost beyond credit.
As many vouched rarities are.
That our garments, being as they were, drenched in the sea, hold notwithstanding their freshness and gloss, being rather new dyed than stained with salt water.
If but one of his pockets could speak, would it not say he lies? Aye, or very falsely pocket of his report.
Methinks our garments are now as fresh as when we put them on first in Africa, at the marriage of the king's fair daughter Claribel to the king of Tunis.
'Twas a sweet marriage, and we prosper well in our return. Tunis was never graced before with such a paragon to their queen.
Is not, sir, my doublet as fresh as the first day I wore it? I mean, in a sort.
That sort was well fished for.
When I wore it at your daughter's marriage.
You cram these words and tune mine ears against the stomach of my sense. Would I have never married my daughter there, for coming thence, my son is lost. And she too, who is so far from Italy removed, I ne'er again shall see her.
Oh, my heir, Gables and of the lawn, what strange fish hath made his meal on me?
Sir, he may live. I saw him beat the surges under him and ride upon their backs. He trod the water, whose enmity he flung aside and breasted the surge most swollen that met him. For not doubt he came alive to land.
No, he's gone.
Sir, you may thank yourself for this great loss, that would not bless our Europe with your daughter, but rather lose her through an African where she at least is banished from your eye, who hath cause to let the grief on it. Prithee, peace. You were nailed to be importuned otherwise by all of us, and the fair soul herself waiting to be lowness and obedience at which end of the beach is bound. We have fearest of a loss.
My lord Sebastian, the truth you speak that lacks some gentleness and time to speak it in. You rub the sore when you should bring the plaster.
Very well.
It is foul weather that always serves when you are young.
Foul weather.
Very foul.
Had I plantation of this isle, my lord,
He sowed with nettle seed.
and were the king on it, what would I do?
Escape being drunk for want of wine.
In the Commonwealth, I would by contraries execute all things for no kind of traffic would I admit. No name of magistrate, letters should not be known, riches, poverty, and use of service, none. Contract, succession, or none of land, till vineyard, none. No use of metal, corn, or wine, or oil. No occupation, all men idle, all, and women too, but innocent and pure. No sovereignty.
Yet he would be king on it.
The latter end of his commonwealth forgets the beginning.
All things in common nature should produce without sweat or endeavor, treason, felony, sword, pike, knife, gun, or in any engine would I not have. But nature should bring forth of its own kind all poison, all abundance to feed my innocent people.
No marrying amongst his subjects.
None, man, all idle, whores and knaves.
With such perfection govern, sir, to excel the golden age.
Say his majesty! Long live Gonzalo!
And you, my good sir,
I prithee no more. Thou dost talk nothing to me.
I do well believe, your highness, and if it's a minister occasion to these gentlemen, who are of such sensible and nimble lungs that they always used to laugh at nothing.
'Twas you we laughed at.
Who in this kind of merry fooling are nothing to you. So you may continue and laugh at nothing still.
What a blow was there given!
You are gentlemen of brave metal. You would lift the moon out of her sphere if she were to continue at it 5 weeks without changing.
We would sow, and then go with that fire.
Nay, good my lord, be not angry.
No, I warned you. I will not adventure my discretion so weakly. Will you laugh me asleep? For I am very heavy.
Go sleep and hear us. What? All so soon asleep? I wish mine eyes would, with themselves, shut up my thoughts. I feel they are inclined to do so.
Please you, sir, do not omit the heavy offering. It seldom visits sorrow. When it doth, is a comforter.
We too, my lord, will watch your safety and guard your person as you take your rest.
Thank you. Wondrous heaven.
What a strange drowsiness possesses thou.
It is the quality of the mind.
Why doth it not then our island sink? I find not myself disposed to sleep.
Nor I. My spirits are nimble. They fell together all as by consent. They dropped as by a thunderstroke. What might, worthy Sebastian? Oh, what might! No more. And yet, methinks I see it in thy face what thou shouldest be. The occasion speaks thee, and my strong imagination sees a crown dropping upon thy head.
What? Art thou waking?
Do you not hear me speak?
I do, and surely it is a sleepy language, and thou speakest out of thy sleep. What is it thou didst say? This is a strange repose, to be asleep with eyes wide open, standing, speaking, moving, and yet so fast asleep.
Noble Sebastian, thou lettest thy fortune sleep. Die thou, wake while thou art waking.
Thou dost snore distinctly. There's meaning in thy snores.
I am more serious than my custom. You must be so too if heeding, which to do trembles the oath.
Well, I'm standing water.
I'll teach you how to flow.
Do so. To add hereditary sloth instructs me.
If you but knew how you the purpose cherish, while thus you mock it, how in stripping it you more invest it. Ebbing men indeed most often do so near the bottom run, by their own fear or sloth.
Prithee, say on. The setting of thine eye and cheek claim a madam, and a birth indeed which throws thee much fear.
Thus, sir, although this lord of weak remembrance hath here almost persuaded the king as impossible that he's undrowned as he that sleeps here swims.
I have no hope that he's undrowned.
Oh, out of that, no hope. What great hope have you? No hope that weighs another way, so high a hope that even ambition cannot pierce a wing beyond, but doubt discovered there. Will you grant me that Ferdinand is drowned?
He's gone.
Then tell me, who's the next heir of Naples?
Whereabout?
She that is Queen of Tunis. She that dwells 10 leagues beyond man's life. She that from Naples can have no note unless the sun were post. The man in the moon's too slow, till newborn chins be rough and razorable. She that from whom we were all sea swallowed, though some passed again, and by that destiny to perform an act whereof what's past is prologue, what to come, yours and mine is charge.
What stuff does this house say to you? 'Tis true my brother's daughter's Queen of Tunis, so is she heir of Naples. Which regions there is some space.
A space whose every cubit seems to cry out, how shall the Clarabelle measure us back to Naples, keep in Tunis and let Sebastian wake? Say this were death, then thou hast seized them. Why, they were no better than now they are. There be that can rule Naples, as well as he that sleeps. Lords that prate as amply and unnecessarily as this Gonzalo. I myself can not make a chop of this deep chat. Oh, that you bore the mind that I do. Want a sleepless for your advancement. Do you understand me?
Methinks I do.
And how does your content tend to your own good fortune?
I remember you did supplant your brother.
Prospero. True. And look how all my garments sit upon me. Much better than before. My brother's servants were then my fellows. Now they are my men.
But for your conscience.
I sir, where lies that? I feel not this deity in my bosom. Here lies her mother. No better than the earth lies. He worked, not he spied. That's dead. Whom I, disobedience, 3 inches of it, put to bed forever. How you do thus, to the perpetual wing for aim, I put this ancient morsel, this third Brutus, who should not upbraid our course. For all the rest, they'll take suggestion as a cat laps milk. They'll tell the clock to any business that we say befits the hour.
Thy case, dear friend, shall be my precedent. As thou dost Milan, I'll come by Naples. Draw thy sword. One stroke shall free thee from the tribute which thou payest, and I, the king, shall love thee.
Draw together. And when I bring you a pact, do you delight to call on Gonzalo?
Oh, but one word.
My master through his art foresees the danger that you, his friend, are in, and sends me forth, for else his project dies, to keep them living. While you here do snoring lie open-eyed conspiracy his time doth take, if for life you keep a care, shake off slumber and beware. Awake! Awake!
What? How now? Ho! Awake? Why are you drunk? Wherefore art this ghastly looking?
What's the matter? Whilst we stood here securing your repose, even now, we heard a hollow burst of bellowing like bulls, or rather lions. Did not wake you. Struck mine ear most terribly.
I heard nothing. Oh, 'twas a din to fright a monster's ear, to make an earthquake. Sure, it was the roar of a whole herd of lions. Heard you this, Gonzalo?
Upon mine honor, sir, I heard humming, and that a strange one too, which did awake me. I shaked you, sir, and cried. As mine eyes opened, I saw the weapons drawn. There was a noise that's verily. 'Tis best we stand upon our guard that we quit this place. Let's draw our weapons.
Lead off this land and let's further the search for my poor son.
Heavens, keep him from these beasts, for he is sure in the island.
Lead way.
Prospero, my lord, shall know what I have done. So, king, go safely on to seek thy son.
Prosper fall and make him by inchmeal a disease. Spirits hear me, yet I needs must curse. But they'll nor pinch, frighten me with urchin shows, pitch me in the mire, nor lead me like a firebrand in the dark out of my way, unless he bid them. But for every trifle they set upon me. Sometimes, like apes, they'll do mow and chatter and after biting. And then, like hedgehogs which lie tumbling in my barefoot way, and mount their pricks in my footfall. Sometime am I, wound with adders who, with cloven tongues, do hiss me into madness. No, here comes the spirit of his torment me for bringing warning slowly. I'll go back. But he will not mind me.
He is neither bush nor shrub to bear off any weather at all. Another storm brewing, I hear it sing in the wind. Yon same black cloud, yon huge one, looks like a fallen bar that would shed it in the earth. It thunders before, I know not where to hide my head. The same cloud cannot choose but to fall by pale force. What have we here, man or a fish? Dead or alive? Oh, a fish! A fish! It smells like a fish! Very ancient and fish-like smell. I don't know if the news porch on. Strange fish. Were I in England now, as once I was, and had but this fish painted, not a holiday fool there but would give a piece of silver, there would this monster make a man. Any strange beast there makes a man. When they will not give a doit to relieve a lame beggar, they will lay out hands to a dead Indian. Naked like a man, and his fins like arms. Warm, oh my troth! I do not let loose my opinion, hold it no longer. This is no fish, but an islander that hath lately suffered by a thunderbolt. Alas, the storm has come again. The best way is to creep under his gabardine. There's no other shelter hereabout. Misery acquaints a man with strange bedfellows. And will here shred until the dregs of the storm be past. I shall no more to say. Here shall I die as sure. This is a scurvy tune to sing in a man's funeral. But here's my comfort. The master, the swallow, the boatswain, and I, the gardener and his mate, love Mole and Meg and Marian and Marjorie. But none of us cared for Kate. For she get a tongue with a tang, would cry to a sailor, going! She loved not the savour of tar nor pitch, yet a tailor might scratch her where she did itch. Then to sea, boys, and let her go away! This is a scurvy soon. But here's my comfort.
Do not torment me.
What's the matter? Have we devils here, eh? I've not escaped drowning to be afeard now of your four legs. For they've been said, there's a proper man as ever went on four legs, he cannot make him give ground. And it shall be said again while Stephano breathes at nostrils.
The spirit torments me.
This is some monster of the isle with four legs, who hath got, as I take it, an ague. Where the devil should he learn our language? I will give him some relief, if it be but for that. If I can recover him and keep him tame and get to Naples with him, present for any emperor that ever trod on its leather.
Do not torment me, pretty. I'll bring my foot home faster.
Come on your ways. Open your mouth. Here is that which will give language to you, cat. Open your mouth. This will shake your shaking, I can tell you, and that soundly. You cannot tell who's your friend. Open your chaps again.
I should know that voice.
It should be, but he is drowned, and these are devils. Oh, defend me!
4 legs and 2 voices. A most delicate monster. His forward voice now is to speak well of his friend. His backward voice is to utter foul speeches and to detract. If my bottle will recover him, I will help his ague. Come! Amen. I will pour some in thy other mouth. Stephano, doth thy other mouth call me? Mercy, mercy, this is a devilish monster!
Stephano! If thou be Stephano, touch me and speak to me! For I am Trinculo! Be not afeard, thy good friend Trinculo!
If thou beest Trinculo, come forth. I'll pull thee by the lesser legs. If any be Trinculo's legs, these are they. Thou art very Trinculo indeed. How camest thou to be the siege of this moon cup? Canny vent Trinculos.
I seem to be killed by a thunderstroke. But art thou not drowned, Stephano? I hope now thou art not drowned. Is a storm over below? I am in the dead mooncalf's gabardine for fear of the storm. And art thou alive, Stephano? Oh, Stephano, to Neapolitan scale! Oh, do not turn me about, the stomach is not constant.
We find things in the ear sprites. That's a brave god, and there's celestial liquor. I will kneel to him.
How didst thou escape? How camest thou hither? Swear by this bottle how thou camest hither. I escaped upon a bottle of sack which the sailors heaved overboard. By this bottle which I made out of the bark of a tree with mine own hands, since I was cased ashore.
I'll swear upon that vow to be thy true subject, for the liquor is not earthly.
Here, swear then how thou escapest.
Small shore man like a duck. I do not swim like a duck, I'll be sworn.
Here, kiss the book. Though thou canst swim like a duck, thou art made like a goose. The whole butt, man. My cellar is in a rock by the seaside where my wine is hid. How now, mooncalf, how does thine ague?
Hast thou not dropped from heaven?
Out of the moon I did assure thee. I was the man in the moon when time was.
I have seen thee in her, and I do adore thee. My mistress showed me thee and thy dog in my bush.
Here, swear to that. I will furnish it anon with new contents. Swear.
Oh, my mistress like this is a very shallow monster. I fear to be.
Oh, a very weak monster.
Man is a very poor, credulous monster. Well-drawn monster in good sooth.
I'll show thee every fertile inch beyond, and I will kiss thy foot you enough. Plague upon the tyrant that I serve. I'll bear him no more sticks, but follow thee, thou wondrous man. Wilt thou go with me?
I'll privy lead the way without any more talking. Tricula, the king in all our company else being drowned, we will inherit here. Here, bear my bottle. Fellow Tricula, we'll fill him by and by again.
Farewell, master, farewell, farewell.
A howling monster, a drunken monster.
No more attempts I'll make for fish. No that in fire. I require no state treachery, no justice. Bam, Caliban has a new master. Freedom, hey, freedom, freedom, hey, freedom, hey.
Oh, brave monster, lead the way.
Caliban
has a new master. Get in here, man!
freedom, hey, freedom, freedom,
Hey,
freedom,
hey,
freedom,
hey,
freedom, There be some sports are painful, and their labor to lighten themselves. Some kind of basis are noble and God, and most poor matters point to riches. This, my mean task would be as heavy to me as odious. But the mistress which I serve quickens what's dead and makes my labors pleasures. Oh, she is 10 times more gentle than her father's friend, and he's composed of harshness. I must pile some thousands of these logs upon a sore injunction. My sweet mistress weeps when she sees me work and says such baseness had never liked executive. I forget. But these sweet thoughts do even refresh my labors most busiest when I do it.
Alas, now pray you work not so hard. I would like to burn out those logs that you are going to pile. Pray sit it down and rest you. When this burns, we for having near you. My father's hard at study. Pray now rest yourself. Be safe for these 3 hours.
Oh, most dear mistress, the sun shall set before I shall discharge what I must strive to do.
If you'll sit down, I'll bear your cross pile. Pray give me that. I'll carry it to the pile.
No, precious creature, I'd rather crack my sinews, break my back, than you should such dishonor undergo while I sit lazy by.
It would become me as well as it does you, and I should do it much more easily. For my goodwill is to it, and yours is against.
Poor worm, thou art infected. This visitation shows it.
You look wearily.
No, noble mistress, this fresh morning with me when you are by at night. I do beseech you chiefly that I might set it in my prayers. What is your name?
Miranda. Oh, dear father, I have broke your hest to say so.
Indeed, the top of admiration words what's dearest to the world. For many a lady I have eyed with best regard, and many a time the harmony of their tongues hath in bondage brought my too diligent ear. For several virtues have I liked, several women. Never any was so full soul, but some defect in her did quarrel with the noblest grace she owed, and put it to the foil. But you, oh you, so perfect and so peerless are created of every creature's best.
I do not know one of my sex, no woman's face remember save from my glass, mine own. Nor have I seen more that I may call men than you, good friend, my dear father. How features are abroad I am skilless of, but by my modesty, the jewel in my dower, I would not wish any companion in the world but you. Nor can imagination form a shape besides yourself to like of. But I prattle something too wildly, and my father's precepts I there do forget.
I am in my condition a prince, Miranda. I do think a king, I would not so, and would no more endure this wooden slavery than to suffer the flesh fly blow my mouth. Hear my soul speak. The very instant that I saw you, did my heart fly to your service, and there it resides to make me slave to it, and for your sake am I this patient logman.
Do you love me?
Oh, heaven, oh earth, bear witness to the sound and crown what I profess with kind event if I speak true. If hollowly, convert what best is boded to me to mischief. I, beyond all limit of else on the earth, do love, prize, honor you.
I am a fool to weep at what I am glad of.
Fair encounter of the most rare affections. Heavens rain down grace on what breeds between them.
Wherefore weep you?
At mine unworthiness, that dare not offer what I desire to give, and much less take what I shall die to want. But this is trifling, and all the more it seeks to hide itself, the bigger bulk it shows. Hence, bashful cunning and prompts me plain and holy innocence. I'm your wife if you will marry me. If not, I'll die your maid. To be your fellow, you may deny me, but I'll be your servant whether you will or no.
My mistress, and I thus humblest ever.
My husband, then?
I, with a heart as willing as bondage ere of freedom. Here's my hand.
And mine, with my heart in it. And now farewell, it's half an hour hence.
1,000! 1,000! Let's go! Let's go!
So glad as this is day, I cannot be whom surprise befall. But at my rejoicing can be nothing more. I'll do my book, and ere at supper time I must perform with much business appertaining.
his cunning of cheating me of the island.
Thou liest!
Thou liest, thou jesting monkey, thou! I would, my valiant master, I do not lie.
Trinculo, trouble him any more in his tail, and by this hand I will supplant some of your teeth.
Why, I did nothing!
Mum then, and no more. Proceed.
I say, by sorcery he got this idol. For me he got it. If I did slow revenge on him, for I know thou darest, but this thing dare not.
That's most certain.
There shall be no limit in our sin.
How now shall this be compassed? Canst thou bring me to the party?
Yea, my lord. I'll kneel from thee asleep, or thou canst knock a nail into his head.
Thou liest, thou canst not.
What a proud namesake! Thou scurvy patch! I beseech thy greatness, give him blows, and take his bottle from him. When that's gone, he shall drink none but brine, for I'll not show him where the creep freshens are.
Trinculo, run into no further danger. Interrupt the monster one word further, and by this hand I'll turn my mercy out of the doors and make a stockfish of thee.
I did nothing! I will father off.
Didst thou not say he lied?
Thou liest!
Do I so? Thou take that! Now, forward with your tale. Privy stand farther off.
Beat him enough. After a little time, I'll beat him too.
Stand farther. Proceed.
As I told you, it's his custom with him in the afternoon to sleep. There, thou mayst brain him, having first seized his books, or with the lock, batter his skull, punch him with a stick, or cut his knees in with thy knife. Remember, first to possess his books, for without them, he's but as soft as I am, and hath not one spirit to command. They all do brutally hate him as much as I. Not much deeply to consider is the beauty of his daughter.
Is it so, brave lass?
Aye, Lord. She will become thy dad, I warrant, and bring me forth brave brood.
Monster, I will kill this man. His daughter and I shall be king and queen. Save our graces. And Trinculo and thyself shall be viceroys. Dost thou like the plot, Trinculo? Excellent! Give me thy hand. I am sorry I
string instruments will hum about mine ear, and sometimes voices that if I had waked after long sleep will make me sleep again. Sometimes, in dreaming, the clouds we thought would open up, and some riches ready to jump upon me, that when I waked, I'd cry to dream again.
This will be a brave kingdom to me, where I shall have my music for nothing.
When Prospero is destroyed,
That will be by and by, I remember the story.
The sound is going farther off. Let's follow it and after do our work.
Lead, monster, we'll follow.
most unfit to live. I have made you mad. And even with such like valor, men hang and drown their proper selves. You fools! I and my fellows are ministers of fate. The elements of whom your swords are tempered may as well wound the loud winds, or with bemocked dead stabs, kill the still closing waters, as diminish one towel that's in my plume. My fellow ministers are like invulnerable. If you could hurt, your swords are now too massy for your strengths, and will not be uplifted. But remember, for that is my business to you, that you three from the land did supplant Prospero, exposed unto the sea him and his innocent child, for which thou deed the powers delaying, not forgetting, hath incensed the seas and shores, yea, all creatures, against your peace. Thee of thy son Alonso they have bereft, and do pronounce by me lingering perdition, worse than any death can be at once, whose wraths to guard you from, which here on this island is nothing but heart sorrow, and the clear life ensuing.
Grace hath thou, of what thou instructs, and nothing would bait it on what thou hast to say. So, with good life and observation strange, their meaner ministers there several kinds have done. My high charms work, and they are all in my power. They are knit up in their distractions, and in these fits I shall visit young Ferdinand, whom they suppose is drowned, and his and mine loved daughter.
In the name of something holy, sir, why stand you in this strange stare?
Oh, it is monstrous, monstrous! You thought the billow spoke, it told me of it. The winds did sing it to me, and the thunder, and deep and dreadful organ pipe did pronounce the name of Prosper. It did base my trespass. Therefore, my son in the ooze is bedded, and I shall seek him deeper than air plummet sounded, and with him there my mother!
But one fiend at a time. I'll fight their legions over. I'll be thy second.
Three of them are desperate. Their great guilt like poison given to work a great time master now needs to fight the spirits. I do beseech you that are of supper joys, follow them swiftly and hinder them from what this ecstasy may now provoke them to.
Follow, I pray you.
If I have too awfully punished you, your compensation makes amends. For here I have given a third of thee in my own life, and tended to thy hand. All thy vexations were but trials of my love. Now hast strangely stood the test. So, here for heaven I ratify this my rich gift. O Ferdinand, do not smile at me that I boast of her, for thou shalt find she will outstrip all praise and make it hold behind her.
I do believe it against an oracle.
Then, as my rich gift and acquisition worthily purchased, take my daughter. But, if thou dost break her virgin up for all the holy rite he ministered in sanctimonious ceremonies, no sweet aversion of heaven shall let this contract go, but barren hate, soured I disdain, and discord shall destroy your union and make weeds grow from that load that you can oath. Therefore take heed.
As I hope for quiet days, fair issue and long life, such love as 'tis now, the murky shall never melt mine honor into lust to take away the edge of that day's celebration.
There is Bo. Sit then, talk with her. She is thine own. Oh, Ariel, my industrious servant Ariel.
What would my poacher master? Here I am.
Thou and thy meaner fellows have worthily performed, but I shall use you in such another trick. Go, bring the rabble of who I incite in power here to this place. For I must bestow upon the eyes of this young couple some vanity of mine art. For it is my promise, and they expect it.
Presently.
Aye, with the twain.
Before you can say come and go, and breathe twice and cry, so. Each one tripping on his toe will be here with mop and mow. Do you love me, master? No?
Dearly, my delicate Ariel, do not approach if thou dost hear me call.
Well, I conceive.
Do not give the dalliance too much to rain. The strongest soul set the fire in the blood. Be more abstemious, or ignite your vow.
I warrant you, sir, that the white, cold virgin snow upon my heart abates the ardor of my liver.
Well. Come, Ariel. Bring a colliery rather than one spirit. Appear impertly. No tongue, all eyes. Be silent.
Honor rich his marriage blessing, long continuance and increasing hourly joys. Be still upon you, Juno sings her blessings on you. Earth's increase, voids in plenty, barns and garners never empty, vines with clustering bunches growing, plants with goodly burden growing. Spring come to you at the farthest, its ebbing end of harvest. Scarcity and want shall shun you. Series blessing so is on you.
This is a most majestic vision and harmonious charming. May be bold to think these spirits.
Spirits which I have called from their confines to enact my present fancy.
Let me live here ever. So rare a wondered father and a wise to make this place paradise.
Sweet now, silence. There's something else to do. Hush! And be mused, or else our spell is marred.
You nymphs called nigh to the limping brooks, with your sedge crowns and ever harmless looks, leave your crisp channels, and on green land answer your summons Juno does command. Come, tempered nymphs, and help to celebrate a contract of true love. Be not too late. You sunburned sicklemen of August weary, come hither from the furrow and be merry. Make holiday your rye straw hats below, and these fresh nymphs encounter every one in country footing.
Well done. A boy. No more!
This is strange. There's some passion in your father that works him strongly.
Never till this day saw I him touched with anger, so it's temper.
You do, my son. Look as though you were dismayed. Be cheerful. All our revels are now ended. These are actors, as I foretold you, were spirits that melted into air, into thin air. In the baseless fabric of this vision, from the cloud-caked towers to the great temples, to the solemn palaces, to the great globe itself, yea, all which it inherits, shall dissolve and leave not a rack behind. We are such stuff as dreams are made on, and our little life is rounded with a sleep. Sir, I am vexed. Bear with my weakness, my old brain is troubled. Be not disturbed by my infirmity. If thou please, retire into my cell. A turn or two I'll take to walk to still my ever-beating mind.
We wish your peace.
We wish your peace.
Come with a thought. I thank thee, Ariel. Come.
My thoughts I cleave to. What's thy pleasure?
Spirit, we must prepare to meet with Caliban.
I, my commander. I thought to have told thee of it, but feared lest I might anger thee.
Say, where did thou leave these varlets?
I told you, sir. They were red hot with drinking. So full of valor that they smote the air for bringing in their face, beat the ground for kissing their feet, yet always bending towards their project. So I beat my tab. At which, like calves, they pricked their ears, advanced their eyelids, uplifted their noses as they smelt music. So I charmed their ears. They my lowing followed through toothed briars, sharp furzes, pricking gorse and thorns, which entered their frail shins. At last, I left them in the filthy mantle pool beyond your cell. There, dancing up to their chins, at the foul lake o'erstunk their feet.
Ariel, thy charge is exactly performed, but invisible thou art shall retain now still. Go! Bring the trumpery in my cell first, stale to catch these thieves.
I go. I go!
Devil. A born devil whose nature nurture can never stick. All pains humanely taken, all lost, quite lost. As with age, his body uglier grows, so his mind cankers. I shall plague them all, even to roaring. Come, hang him on this line.
Pray you, tread softly that the blind fool may not hear a footfall. We are now near his cell.
Monster, your fairy, which you say is an harmless fairy, has done little better than play the jack with us. Monster, I do smell old horse piss, at which my nose is in great indignation. So is mine. Look, monster, if I should take a displeasure towards you, look you, thou wert but a lost monster.
Should my king give me that favor still, be patient. For the prize I shall bring thee to shall hoodwink this chance. Therefore, speak softly.
All's hushed as midnight yet.
Hey, but to lose our bottles in the bush! There is not only disgrace and dishonor in that monster, but an infinite loss. That's more to me than my wedding yet. This is your harmless fairy monster. I will fetch off my bottle, though I be all ears for my labor.
Granny, my king, be quiet. Seest thou here? This is the mouth of the cell. No noise, and enter. Do that good mischief which may make the island thy own forever, and I thy Caliban for I thy footlicker.
Give me thy hand. I do begin to have bloody thoughts. Oh, King Stephano! Oh dear, oh worthy Stephano, look what a wardrobe is here for thee!
Let it alone, thou fool, it is but trash!
Oh, monster, we know it belongs to a frippery. Oh, King Stephano! Put off that gown, Trinculo, while the sand I'll have that gown. Thy grace shall have.
The dropsy drivers, fool! What do you mean to dote on such luggage? Let it alone and do the murder first. If he awake from toe to crown, he'll fill our skins with pinches, make us strange stuff.
Oh, be you quiet, monster. Mistress mine! Is this not my jerkin? Oh, monster, put some lime upon your fingers and away with the rest.
Not. We shall lose our time and all be turned to barnacles or to apes with foreheads villainous low.
Be quiet, monster. Lay to your fingers. Help to bear this away when my hogshead of wine is heat. Go to, carry this, and this. On, and this.
Hey, Melton, hey! How's the day?
The 6th hour. At which time, my lord, you said our work should cease.
I did say so when I first raised the Tempest. Say thou, spirit, how fares the king and his followers?
Confined together. In the same fashion as you gave in charge, just as you left them. All prisoners, sir, in the Lion Grove, which were the fence your cell. They cannot budge till your release. The king, his brother, and yours abide all three distracted. The remainder mourning over them, brimful of sorrow and dismay. But chiefly him that you term, sir, the good old Lord Gonzalo. His tears runs down his beards like winter's drops from eaves of reed. The charm so strongly books him that if you now beheld him, your affections would become tender.
Dost thou think so, spirit?
Mine would, sir, were I human.
My child, whose with air and honor, a touch, a feeling of their affliction, shall not myself, one of their kind, with sharply passion moved as they be kindly removed than thou art? Though with their high wrongs be struck to the quick, yet to my nobler reason, against my fury do I take part. Rare action is in virtue, than in vengeance. They being penitent, the sole drift of my purpose doth extend not my frown any further. Go, release them, Ariel. My charms I'll break, their senses I'll restore, and they shall be themselves.
Fetch them, sir.
Brooks, standing lakes and groves, and you whose printless foot on the sand does chase the ebbing Neptune and do fly him when he comes back. You, demi-puppets by moonshine do green sour ringlets make, whereof the you not out. You whose pastime is to make midnight mushrooms that rejoice to the solemn curfew, to whose aid weak, masters though you be, I have bedimmed the the noontide sun called forth the mutinous winds and switched the green sea in the azured vault set roaring to the war. To the rattling thunder I have given fire, rifted Jove's stout oak with his horn bolt, the strong base promontory I have made shake, and by the spurs plucked up the pine and cedar. Graves, at my command, have waked their sleepers, oaked, and come forth by my so potent art. By this rough magic I here abjure, I require some heavenly music, which even now I do, to end mine end upon their senses that this airy charm is for. I'll break my staff, bury it in certain fathoms of the earth, and deeper than it ever cometh the sound, I'll drown my hope. A solemn air to the best comforter and unsettled fantasy, now in thy veins, pure, useless within thy skull, stand there, for you are spell-stopped. Holy Gonzalo, honorable man, mine eyes insociable to thine eye fall fellowly drops. To their rising senses they do chase their ignorant fumes and mantle their clearer reason. Oh, good Gonzalo, my true preserver and the most loyal sir, if thou followest, I shall pay thy work both in home and in deed. Most cruelly didst thou, Alonso, use me and my daughter. Thy brother was a further in the act. Thou art pinched now, Sebastian. You, brother of mine, who entertained ambition, expelled remorse and nature, whom would Sebastian, whose inward pinches were therefore most strong, here would have killed your king. Their understanding begins to swell, the approaching tide shall fill the reasonable shore that now lies foul in money. Not one of them that would yet look on me would know me. Ariel, bring me the coat and rapier in my cell. I will discase me myself as I was sometime Milan. Quickly, spirit, thou shalt be free.
Where the bee sucks, there suck I. In a cowslips fell I lie. There I couch, where owls do cry. On the bat's back too I fly. After summer merrily, merrily, merrily shall I live now. Under the blossom that hangs on the bough.
Why, that's my days here. I shall miss thee, but thou shalt have free. So. Go to the kingship, invisible as thou art. Thou shalt find the manners asleep under the hatches, the master in the boats and being awake. Enforce them to this place. Presently, I prithee.
And drink the air before me, and return where your pulse twice beat.
All torment, trouble, wonder, and amazement inhabits here. Some heavenly power guide us out of this fearful country.
Behold, Sir King, the wrong Duke of Milan, Prospero. For more assurance that a living prince does speak, I embrace thy body. And to thee and thy company I bid a hearty welcome.
Where'er thou beest he or no, or some enchanted trifle to abuse me, as late I have been, I not know. Thy pulse beats of flesh and blood, and since I saw thee, the affliction of my mind immense, for which I fear a madness, help me. This must crave, and if this be at all a most strange story, thy dukedom I resign, and I do entreat thou pardon me my wrongs. But how should Prospero be living and be here?
First, noble friend, let me embrace thine age, whose honor cannot be measured or confined.
Whether this be or be not, will not swear.
You do yet taste some subtleties of the isle that will not let you believe things certain. Welcome, my friends, all, but for you, my gracious lords, if I were so minded, I here could pluck his highness's crown upon you and justify you traitors. At this time I will tell him the tales.
The devil speaks in him.
No, for you, most wicked sir, the called brother would even infect my mouth. Thy greatest fault, all of them. I do forgive you. I require my duty, which perforce I know thou must restore.
If thou beest Prospero, give us particulars of thy preservation. How thou hast met us here, whom 3 hours since were wrecked upon this shore where I have lost. Oh, how sharp the point of this remembrance is my dear son, Ferdinand. Irreparable is the loss, and patience I fear is past from cure.
I rather think you sought her help, but who sought grace for the like loss? I have sovereign aid, and rest myself content.
You the like loss.
For dear as me is late supportable, I have means much weaker than you may call to comfort you. For I have lost my daughter.
Daughter. Oh, that they were living both in Naples, the king and queen there. That they were. I wish myself were mothered in that oozy bed where my son was. When did you lose your daughter?
In this last tempest. As these lords perceive their offices of truth, and their words are natural of rest. But, however so, believe this for certain, that I am Prospero, the duke that was thrust forth from a land, and who most strangely upon the shore where you were wrapped was sent to be lord on. I pray you, look in, since my dukedom you have given back, I will requite you with that such a good thing as me to my dukedom.
Sweet lord, you play me false.
No, my dearest love, I would not for the world.
Yes, for a score of kingdoms you should wrangle, and I would call it fair play.
If this prove a vision of the island, my dear son, I shall twice lose.
A most high miracle.
Though the seas threaten, they are merciful. I have cursed them without cause.
Now all the blessings of the glad Father compass thee about. Arise and say how thou best here.
Oh, wonder how many goodly creatures are there here. How beauteous mankind is. Oh, brave new world that hasn't people in it.
'Tis new to me.
What is this maid with whom thou wast to play? Your eldest acquaintance cannot read 3 hours. Is she the goddess that hath severed us and brought us thus together?
Sir, she is mortal, but by immortal providence, she's mine. I chose her when I could not ask my father for his advice, nor thought I had one. She is daughter to this famous Duke of Milan, of whom I have heard so much renown, but never saw before, of whom I have received a second life, and a second father. This lady makes him to me.
I am hers. Oh, how oddly it will sound to ask my child's forgiveness.
There, sir, stop. Do not burden yourself on a remembrance that's gone.
I have inly wept or should have spoke ere this. Look down, you gods, and on this couple drop a blessed crown, for it is you that have chalked forth the way which brought us hither.
I say, Amen, Gonzalo.
Is Milan thrust from Milan that his issue should become kings of Naples? Oh, rejoice beyond a common joy and set it down on gold, lasting pillars. And one voyage to farewell her husband fond in Tunis, and Ferdinand her brother, a wife where he himself was lost. Prospero is duped up in a poor isle, and all of us ourselves when no man was his own.
Give me thy hand. But grief and sorrow still embrace his heart and doth not wish to join.
Be it so. Amen.
Was it well done?
Bravely, my diligence. Thou shalt be free.
This is a strange amaze as e'er men trod, and there is in this business more than nature was ever conduct of. Some oracle must rectify our knowledge.
Sir, my liege, do not infest your mind on the strangeness of this business. At pick pleasure, which shall single resolve you. All these have been accidents since you came to the island. Be cheerful, and think of each thing well. Come hither, spirit. Set Caliban and his companions free. Untie the spell. How fares my gracious sir? Oh. There are some yet missing of your company, some few odd lads that you remember not.
Every man takes shit for all the rest, and let no man take care for himself, for it is all but fortune. Couragio, bully monster, couragio! Why, if these be true spikes which I wear in my head, here's a goodly sight.
Oh, Sainobus, these be brave spirits indeed. Find my masters. I will myself be pierced to death.
Why, what things are these, my lord Antonio? Will money buy them?
Very like. One of them is a plain fish and no doubt marketable.
Marvel that of these men, my lord, then say if this be true. This mishap made, his mother was a witch, one so powerful she could control the moon, make clothes in ebb, and deal in her command without her power. These three have robbed me, and this demi-devil, for he is a bastard one, hath plotted with them to take my life. Two of these men you must know and own. This thing of darkness I acknowledge is mine.
I'm afraid he will chastise me.
I have been in such a pickle since I saw you last. I feel never happy bones.
Oh, now, Stephano.
Touch me not, for I am not Stephano, but a crab.
Oh, you be the king of the Isle, Sirrah.
I should have been a soul one day.
This is as a strange thing as their eye comes on.
He is just proportioned in his manners as in his shape. Go, Sirrah, to myself. Take with you your companions, as you beg to have my pardon. Trim it handsomely.
That I will, and I'll be wise hereafter and seek for grace. What a thrice the path was I to take this drunkard for a god and worship this dull fool.
Go to, away! Sir, I invite your highness and your train to my poor cell, and you shall take your rest for this one night, which I shall waste with no discourse as this. The story of my life, and all these happened accidents since I came to the isle. And in the morn, I shall take you to your ship and to Naples, where I have to go to see the nuptial of my dear beloved Solomon. Thence retire me to my Milan, where every third thought shall be of my grave.
I long to hear the story of your life, which must take the ear strangely.
Sir, I promise you calm seas, auspicious gales, and a sail so expeditious that shall catch your royal fleet far off. Ariel, thy chick, that is thy charge. Then, to the elements. Be free, and fare thou well. Please, draw near. Now all my powers are overthrown, and what strength I have is mine own, which is most faint. Now 'tis true I here be confined by you, or sent to Naples. Let me not, since my dukedom got, and pardon the deceiver dwell in this bare island here by your spell, but release me from my bands with the help of your good hands. Gentle breaths must fill my sails, or else my project fails, which was to please. Now I want spirits to enforce, arts to enchant, and my ending be despair, unless be be relieved by prayer. It assaults mercy itself and frees all faults. As from crimes pardoned you would be, let your indulgence set me free.